A bit of an overview of some of the center stages, these things this summer. Here we are sitting back up for ice.
Already. Okay, we're ready, we're just not live, we just weren't able to get the live, but we'll put a note up on our Facebook page and post it after.
We're ready to go?
Yeah.
Okay. Call this regular council meeting of the Sun Peaks Mountain Resort Municipality for Tuesday, December 16th at 3:08 to order. And acknowledge that we live, work and play in the traditional territories of the Secwepemc people. Do we have any introduction of late items?
No.
Nope. Okay, thank you. Can I get a motion to approve the agenda as circulated? Councilor I, second by Councilor Reichen. And all in favor? Approved. 4.1, we have the regular council meeting minutes of September the 2nd. Can I get a motion to adopt? And Councilor Gillespie, second by Councilor Dodd. Any errors or omissions? Seeing none, all in favor? Okay, moving on to 5.1, we have no mayor and council reports today. Other than I say next week we will be on our agenda of 15-minute meetings all week at the UBCM. Under 5.2, staff reports, over to CAO Campbell for the resort development strategy.
With you, Mayor O'Toole, so we have received final approval from the province for the 2025-2027 resort development strategy. As council recalls, the draft of this we brought forward to council in June for endorsement before being sent to the province for formal approval. So this allows us to secure our 3-year RMI funding, and we've allocated the funding to a number of projects over the next 3 years, with the goal of reducing seasonality by increasing visitation during the summer, what we call shoulder or off season, increasing all season business, further utilizing our Sun Peak Center and the Sun Peaks Arena and Sun Peak Center stage, looking at diversifying products, particularly in the summer, and still, of course, recognizing that we do have a strong winter tourism season, and we want to continue that. So growing the winter visitation and the winter guest experience as well. As council knows, this was prepared in consultation with Sun Peaks Resort and Tourism Sun Peaks. And for council's awareness, I have shared it with the senior management team, because of course some of these projects will fall into their departments. And we will also be coordinating with Tourism Sun Peaks on some of the projects specific to the Sun Peak Center, given that they're currently managing the Sun Peak Center.
Excellent. Thank you. Okay, and we have that's the page. We have another report from Director Burton on our 522, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just wanted to give council an update on where we're at and what we've done this year with regards to increasing our effluent disposal capacity. A couple of key takeaways from our report from the work we've done this year. That's any additional area where our basins are located. It's not looking like we have much potential for additional disposal in that area, absent increased treatment capacity and increased treatment quality. So that's something we're looking into. Putting more effluent in this area is not really desirable anyway. If you look at the mountainside, all of our disposal sort of exists in this vertical channel, so all our risks kind of exist there. We don't want to be there if we're going to avoid it. We don't want to be here or over here or over there. We did look over there. We looked over towards the end of Birdfield Drive. That was no good either. So that was one of the recommendations that came out of a tabletop study that was done in 2023. Also, we've identified probably more work that needs to be done on the redundancy side here from an MWR requirements. You'll recall that from a previous report, we used to discharge at our maximum capacity very infrequently throughout the winter, but with developments that have come online and are scheduled to come online, we expect that what used to be infrequent will become normal and discharging at capacity will become normal, which puts us at risk if we do lose an RI basin throughout the winter. So that's another thing we'll be looking at there in terms of increasing our redundancy through the existing RI basins by increasing their size, hopefully. So that leads me into what we're doing for our next steps. That's number one there. I think that's the easy short-term win. Easy being a relative term, increasing the size of the existing basins where they are. to increase our redundancy, hopefully to the point where we can afford to lose one basin over winter, and we still have capacity on the two remaining basins. We're looking at other disposal areas. So right now we're testing to the western edge of the CRE boundary. There's some promising soils out there apparently. So we'll wait to see what the results of those tests come through as. And I think the writing is also on the wall that at some point in the future, we're going to have to upgrade our treatment from a Class C to a Class A and develop a Class A plant here. So we're currently kicking off those discussions as to what that would look like.
Any questions from council? No. Okay, awesome, thank you. Okay, 5.23 with the Health Association.
Thank you, Mayor O'Toole. So I have learned some additional information since I first prepared this memo, but just a summary. So as council is aware, previously the Sun Peaks Health Association was managed by a board of directors. It was a separate community-led health association. In September 2024, council voted to assume control over the Sun Peaks Health Association. So that resulted in all members of council being appointed as directors to the health association. And it also resulted in the municipality making up the membership of the health association. So there's two aspects. There's the membership and then there's the directors. So the membership now consists of the entire municipality. So that allows like control of operations, and administration, the financial matters of the health association, and then the directors are all members of council, and the bylaws were updated and registered to reflect this change. Since that time, a number of experienced and passionate individuals in the community have actually come forward to express an interest in restarting the Sun Peaks Health Association as a separate independent health association. So going back to the model that existed previously, so having it as a community-led and operated health association. So that would essentially transition the health association away from municipality with the appointment of a new board of directors who would have that operational governance, control, and oversight. So we are recommending that we take this step. We see value in having a group of individuals who are willing to take on this role, who are willing to be involved. Since the health association has come to the municipality, we obviously haven't had the resources or ability to really have it operational or do much with it. And so if there's individuals in the community that want to take on the fundraising or have other ideas on the role that the health association can play in the operations of the health clinic and healthcare in general in the community, we see value in that. And there's also an opportunity for an independently separate established health association to assist with the transfer of operations of the Sun Peaks Health Center to a new operator once we've gone through that process. So there's a few options, two options. The first option has two sub options to it. So shifting it back to a community organization would require an amendment of the bylaws and a change of the board of directors. So there's two sub options to that. So if the municipality wants to maintain involvement, that would require the municipality maintaining membership. And that structure would give the municipality control and the ability to appoint directors. But with that would also come the requirement to oversee operations, administration of the health association, budgeting, accounting requirements, all administration aspects of the health association, and then the directors would really just have a governance role. So essentially it would become an arm of the municipality, and that this creates some blurry lines because we'd be happy and it's a bit complicated. We're not recommending that approach. The other option is the municipality sort of removes itself altogether. And so a group of these individuals that would like to form the health association would form the membership structure in addition to also the director structure and just appoint directors. So we can transfer the health association to this group of individuals and help with that process. The other option is to just wind up the existing health association. The cleanest option is to wind up the existing health association altogether and support and allow this group of individuals that have expressed an interest in reforming the health association to simply do that. So they would create a new health association. They would draft new bylaws that align with what they feel are the goals of this health association, and they would then be responsible for the appointment of directors. And of course, we could also request that, there also be a member of council that would be appointed as a director to that health association.
Excellent. Some discussion, round table, Councillor Guy.
The assets of the current health association, how does, say, going with the, just forming a new association, how does that factor into?
Yeah, we would have a separate meeting with council on that in terms of how we would divide up the assets and whether or not you want to transfer some of that assets to the new health association or whether the municipality would want to retain ownership of those assets.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, there's some of the assets are. Could be used for equipment and stuff as being the owners of the building still, that would be kind of along those lines, but. The condo and stuff, I don't really think that's something that. Is something ever we really wanted to have or deal with, we always thought it was more of a. A benefit to the operators of the association, not really something the municipality should actually have or own.
One of the things we could do with that as well too is the discussion could be is that. It is, as I said in on the last strata meeting, and I just got the most recent statements and revenue reports, is the facility is getting to a much better place financially, so it not only is it covering all costs, but it's starting to actually show some profits, so. There's a scenario there where the profits for that unit is not covering local doctors' profits could be being used to put back into the funding for the health association for things like equipment and such like that as well too. Councillor Westman.
Timelines, when we talk about option 1B versus option 2, what are sort of best guess on that?
I think option 2 would be quicker because it would involve less from the municipality side. It would really just, we would have our lawyers dissolve the current health association. They would take care of repealing the bylaws and registration or unregistration of directors. And then we would be happy to support this group of individuals in terms of letting them know what is required of them in order to be able to like start up the new health association. And I've already been engaged in conversations with this group, and I'm confident that this group can quickly get a new health association up and running.
Yep. Councillor Ryder.
Just for clarity, so the association provides broad governance for health issues in the community and how that would feed back into the process of the actual request for proposals that we have out. And the review of that, the municipality is still retaining ownership of the health center. So this is kind of an overarching group that would then provide information to who.
So there's an ability if they're set up as an actual health association and they have that BC Community Health Center designation. We're trying to avoid a gap in services. And so with a health association set up, there would actually be an ability potentially for that health association to be able to support some of the record transfer management for patient records, which the municipality would not be able to do.
So they would really help with that, mitigating the impact of the transitional period from the clinic as it sits now, the steps operating to the new operator that comes out of the RFP.
Yeah, I think and probably important to note, the working group never really recommended that the health association play an active role in guiding. Anything to do with the operation of the new, whoever the new operator of the clinic would be, more just serve as there as a resource if they wanted. As help or support in any way, that it would be an option to for the community to support the operation.
Councillor
Well, just kind of echoing your thinking earlier that although we never really wanted a condo per se, it may be a resource that we want to retain and see how
At least
much
sure.
revenue that has to generate in continuing to bolster the equipment reserve that we had allocated for the operation.
Because unlike many situations where someone might take out a mortgage still and a unit like that, this particular unit has no debt. So it has to just service its strata fees and the company that's running the hotel on a daily basis has done a good job of managing this past year, and revenues were up significantly, and so my sense is that trend will continue, so there may be some financial positives that come out of that, or that money can be, helping to see health association and the ability to support equipment purchases, those kinds of things. Anything else? Are we gonna reframe the recommendation as it sits here, CEO Campbell, or are we gonna go with that?
Yeah, so I would ask that council, direct staff to, wind up is the right word, but wind up the existing,
Yeah.
wind up the existing health association, and support this group of individuals, in their creation of a new health association.
And then-
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, you confirm that is the route that they would like, that's their preferred route as well too, or they kind of?
I don't think they have a preferred
They're
route,
open.
yeah.
Okay.
Motion for that effect, to that, okay, Councillor, second by Councillor Ryken, any further discussion? All in favor? So, moved. Okay, we have anything under new business? No, good, okay. Q&A, any questions from the public? We don't have online, so anybody in the audience? Sabrina.
I just find it, Mr. Mayor, I just thought this last issue with the health, I don't know how the advisory, this committee has been involved in any kind of operational oversight. But with, I think, Councilor Ryken's comment around, governance relative to the RFP and a selected vendor, I think that's material information that this change is taking place, and you may want to, consider adding that as extra information for any bidders. So clarity is, so it's clear, because it's right now, as that's gone out, it's municipality. That's changing, even if you say that it's not having an impact, is that clear in everybody's mind? I mean, I don't know the history, so it's just something that perks up in my mind.
Yeah, so the health association wouldn't have governance over the clinic, they would have the board of directors appointed to the health association would have governance over the health association. The role that the health association would have with the clinic would really be a matter between the health association and the future operator to work out. In terms of whether or not they would, lean on the health association as, they would have charitable status, so raising funds for the health clinic. But the key really is that as a health association with the designation as a community health center, or they would be able to sort of do that, transfer of patient records to bridge that gap, which we wouldn't be able to.
It's my understanding too, is so the NP, the nurse practitioner, was something that came in under that community health center designation, so. Keeping that community health center designation active opened up a lot of avenues to accessing different aspects of government support. So the intention is not to have them tell the operators on a daily basis what to do with the clinic, but to more liaison, and those clinic operators may be like, hey, we'd like to upgrade and do some renovations, and as they would work on behalf of the municipality to fundraise because they had that charitable status. Much like in a lot of ways, how it was prior to dissolving it.
Yeah.
And it being handed back to the
Essentially the
municipality,
same.
virtually the same thing. Anything else?
No.
We don't have any questions online?
Sorry, guys.
It's okay, it's all good. One last thing to have to deal with. So 8.1, we're gonna close this meeting pursuant to the community charter, section 91D. Security of the property of the municipality. Councilor Rankin, second, Councilor Guy, all in favor? We'll take two and we'll reconvene. Guys,
The recording stuff.
there's,
Did we Councilor Dyson?
yeah, started at 3:07 or 19 minutes.